Today's tip is for anyone who has to design or choreograph exhibition drill for their drill team. Now, before we hop in, armed exhibition friends, I think that we've been misled. And I think we've been misled into believing that exhibition is learning moves and tricks and combinations and then putting them together in a logical order, and then hopefully it's cool. And that way we kind of think, hey, if we do a box into a spin, into a toss, maybe that's a sequence. Well, our unarmed friends know that it's not about the movements we do, it's about how we use them and to what effect. And they know this because putting your arm here, let's face it, putting your arm here is not cooler or more difficult or more dangerous than putting your arm here. It's just about the effect that we hope to create. So when we sit down to design a sequence, rather than thinking about what is our body doing first, let's think about what's going on up here. When we design a sequence, we should be asking ourselves, what is the audience expected to feel? How should they be responding? How should they be reacting to the sequence either after it's done or as it's being performed? And that idea, that effect, that desired impact on our audience is going to drive our entire choreographic process. So here's how this works. Once we have that idea, maybe it's we're supposed to tug on their heartstrings and they're supposed to feel really emotional, or maybe it's we're supposed to baffle them with how much practice and intricacy we have with this sequence, right? Go to the specific place in the sequence where that effect is fully realized. In other words, don't start at count 0 and work your way forward. Go to count 15 or count 23 and a half, whatever it is. Go to the place in the sequence where that effect is fully realized and start working on it there. Then what's going to happen, once we design that chunk out and we know that we're going to get to the goal that we have because we've started with that in mind, let's work our way backwards. In other words, as we get good at this process and we become more practiced with it, the sequence is going to tell us what it wants to become. Hey, we need to end in this position to get into this next little chunk so that we have X number of counts to get there. Oh, well, it's totally logical that we would do this, 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 and this. And the sequence starts to build itself backwards until we have a sequence that is far more likely to hit the mark the first time around. In other words, when you go to teach it and bring it to life with your team, you are far more likely to see the vision that you started off with versus starting at the very beginning and then hoping that you somehow came to the right conclusion with that sequence by the time that you got to the end, right? The worst thing that we could do is spend all this time teaching and then cleaning a sequence up only to discover that it's just a combination of movements. All it is something that goes from point A to point B, that it doesn't really say anything and that it doesn't really communicate anything. Because let's remember, the point of exhibition drill is to be entertaining and to make our audiences feel something. So we should start with that in mind, and that should drive our entire process from start to finish. If this tip was helpful, go ahead and give us a like and a follow. Hit up JROTC Drill Team Training for all your training needs, and we will see you out there.